I've had my life changed several times by a burger.
Hey, welcome to episode 59 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Nick. This week I'm with Saveun.
Hey, Nick.
And Blake.
Sup?
And special guest, but you've been here before, Rian. How's it going?
Pretty good, thanks.
I'm trying to remember if you were here while I was here.
I don't think you were.
No, you weren't here. We were here with Ed as well. The
I hate
animator.
that guy.
Ed the animator.
That guy's the worst.
Whoa.
Oh, wait. Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Oh.
So normally we start off with what we've been playing.
Okay.
I've been working a ton, so I haven't been playing much. I've been
Yeah.
playing some random mobile phone games, as usual. I like to explore what's new and find stuff that's good.
Okay.
And I usually don't find stuff that's good. I just find garbage. How about you guys?
Yeah, I've been playing a new game.
Tell us about it, man.
Okay.
I would just you can't hear it, but he's sitting there with the smuggest smile on his face.
No, it's not. There's nothing smug about this game. Okay, so I've been playing this game, and it's called Thea: The Awakening.
Wait, Thea?
Thea, Thea. Thea.
Thea, okay,
Thea:
sure.
The Awakening. It's a terrible, terrible name.
You know, we had a game called Path of Exile: The Awakening.
Yeah, I know, but I seriously think that like games that have like the Awakening or the Reckoning or Origins are just like the most generic sounding. What do you think?
I can't comment on that. So tell us about Thea: The Awakening.
Okay, so it's okay. It looks like a. It sort of presents itself like a 4X game.
Okay.
It's got very Civ sort of in like map. It's got like hexes that you move your units and stuff on, and there's like a little city that you start off with, but it's kind of a cross between a survival game and a Civ game, and a text adventure.
Okay.
Yeah. So you start off. You got your little village.
Yeah.
And you tell all your guys to like do certain jobs. Right. But then
Saveun, by the way, is just laughing. I don't know why.
I don't know how Blake finds these games.
Yeah. How did you find this game?
I'm always curious.
I don't remember. I don't remember how I found it.
But when did you start playing it?
No, I've had it all just this week, but I had it in my watch list for like a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I don't actually remember how I first found it.
Okay.
I think I must have just seen it on like YouTube or something, and then because I did watch it on YouTube first and was like, oh yeah, this game seems interesting.
Right.
But it's a game that's like you don't really do any sort of empire management because you've only got one town, so all you're doing is like growing this town.
Yep.
And what you do to move around the map is you create expeditions. So you got these villages and they've all got like different sort of classes that they're kind of assigned at birth, sort of thing. And they've got tons of different stats, and you equip them with gear individually. And then you create you'll create like a expedition of some of these guys to go out, and you have to give that expedition enough food and enough wood to keep their campfire going, and then it tells you how many turns
They can't get wood while they're on their
they
expedition?
can.
Okay.
And they can get food, but that's not guaranteed,
Right.
Because you don't know what's out there.
Sure.
And so you send them out, and there's like little, you start off seeing like little ruins and things like that around the map. So you go into there and you have a little text adventure, and it'll tell you what you find and what you've encountered, and then you decide how to deal with it. And then it goes into like this combat thing with like, with like cards, but that's like, honestly, that's some bullshit.
What?
That's some bullshit. Their combat system is not great. So, but luckily there's an auto resolve. So I just hit that. So I'm really just playing that sort of thing.
You're playing the text adventure.
Yeah, I'm playing the
part.
text adventure part. You know, and that's great. And like events will pop up in your town or with that expedition of. There was one where like this giant frog was like sneaking about my because this is set in a fantasy world. It's set in a sort of a post-apocalyptic world that is sort of starting to recover. So you're kind of like bringing civilization back.
Okay.
Which
So you're chasing a giant frog.
yeah. So yeah. This event pops up saying that this giant frog has been sighted around your settlement, and you've got a whole bunch of options of what to do with them, and a lot of those options are based on the stats of the people that are still in your settlement.
Okay. So it sounds a lot like FTL has some similar
Okay,
components to it. Have you ever played FTL?
I haven't played FTL.
Okay.
I know
game.
FTL though.
You basically hit random events.
Yeah.
And you'll have some options, and sometimes you'll have extra options based on the stats of the crew.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. Yeah, and yeah, like I mean, with this frog, there was a whole bunch of different things to pick, and
Could you write it?
No, you couldn't write it. The one I picked, for example, was just leave it. Just leave it. And the thing is that if you leave it, it turns out it's this mythical like folklore frog that eats undead. So you're like, oh, that's great. My my settlement's now protected. Got a much higher protection from undead, because in the past I was getting events where undead were attacking the city, and I had to like do a little text adventure of what to do with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Is it good? Are you enjoying it?
It is good. It is good. I really do enjoy it. But the thing that's kind of bumming me out is that I can feel that this is this studio's first game. And
what's the studio? Do you know?
I should have looked it up because it's got a weird name.
Okay.
It's like
I'll look it up.
Mew Mew or something.
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah. But I can definitely tell that it's like this company's like first game.
Yeah.
But they've started on the second, and the stuff that they're talking about where you can build new settlements, I'm really excited about, because that seems to be the thing that it's missing in this.
Right.
Is that you only have this one settlement, and you're just managing that, and that becomes. It's not even that hard to manage. Like once you get on a roll, it's kind of just running automatically.
Yeah.
So what you really want to do is then take some of those villages, make a little expedition, send them off to somewhere where there's more resources, and then make a town there. But you can't do that in the game. What you do with the expeditions is you what's that?
You said you do.
I did say do. What you do
Yeah.
is take these expeditions. You can take them to areas of different resources, and you create a camp. And then in that camp, they'll harvest. You tell them to gather the resources. But then the thing is, once they've gathered what you think is enough, you have to manually tell them to break up camp and then manually path them back to the town. To deliver those resources.
Okay.
So it's just like it's almost awesome, but it's just got these little things that are like, if this was
bad card combat.
like bad card combat, like which I don't even engage with.
The developer, by the way, is called Muha.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Muha Games.
But yeah, it's really cool, and something I actually really really like is that all the text adventure is voiced.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
all voice acted, and also the crazy thing is, it's all the same voice actor for everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I don't know. I still really like it because it's like you're being told a folk tale
Right.
by this
That's kinda
this one person who will do all the voices. It's great.
Do they do good voices, or is it kind of like? Is it cringy? Is it Zelda cringy?
It's I don't know. It's not as cringy as you'd think. It's
Okay.
fine. They don't try to do any crazy voices. Like they're not like really like they're not really like camping it up kind of thing.
Right.
You know, they're just the voices are within their ability to do. You know,
Okay.
they're sticking within their
Sure.
ability. They're not like reaching too far for weird voices. So the thing is, some people's voices do sound the same. because of this, because it's one
Right.
guy. Yeah.
Ryan, have you been playing anything?
Yeah, I've played a few new games recently.
What have you been playing?
One's called Oxygen Not Included
Okay.
by, I think that's pronounced Clay Entertainment. The people who make Don't Starve.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
So I knew some people who got really, really, really into Don't Starve, and I played a little bit of it, and I learned I don't like survival games.
Yep. This one's also a survival game, but instead of you surviving with your character, it's kind of like a base management thing where you have citizens that warp in and you tell them to do stuff.
Okay.
So I don't really understand the setting. I don't know if it's underground or in some space rock or something, but you're deep in some sort of planetoid asteroid object or something like that, and there's like very little oxygen in the place that you're in, and you're basically like digging through the ground, trying to find resources and
Trying to free up some oxygen.
yep, and basically build structures and beds and like toilets and food making and research stuff for
Right.
your little citizen guys. And the interesting part is the fact that like the rooms you want to go to will have like different amounts of level of like lack of oxygen or too much carbon. So you don't want to dig into a vacuum.
Yeah.
I presume anyway. I haven't actually tried it. I feel like that would be a terrible idea.
Right.
And then you also don't want to go too much into the carbon areas because you might poison all your oxygen.
So you can
Yeah.
you can tell what areas you're digging into.
When you have vision on the area, which you have like a light radius,
Right.
you can hover your mouse over the oxygen in the area, and you'll have like some stats telling you about what's the makeup of what's in there,
Okay.
sort of
Pretty
thing.
cool.
So like you'll find algae deposits, which are like areas of oxygen, and you can go in there to get some free oxygen in there, and then you can harvest the algae and
Yeah.
kind of like process it or turn it into terrariums that'll just give off a small amount of oxygen.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of like a different kind of food, sort of thing.
Is this like 2D?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Two-dimensional.
Like
Side on. It's
Yep.
More
sort
like
of.
like Terraria. Is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
I was just
of.
thinking-
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's got the Don't Starve art style that
Right.
looks really good.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
And then there's also like this power thing as well, where you create buildings and structures to generate power. Like the first one you get is like a mouse wheel, and you get your little people to run in it, and so they
Okay,
just
good,
they sit there and run in it, and then you have to like build the cabling from that machine to power everything else,
Yeah. Oh,
stuff
man.
like that. And you build massage tables, which are basically just tables that your guys lie on, and then there's like giant hands with arms that basically punch the shit out of these guys
And
lying down.
what does that do?
Just stress. Stress is another axis of, so there's oxygen, stress, and food, and waste and sleep. All these different axes of survival.
Oh shit! What do you do with the waste?
So you have to build a place for them to do their thing.
Yeah.
And that
What
also
thing do they
has a capacity in there that builds up, and then you have to do something with it after.
Yeah.
So you can take it out and empty it and dump it somewhere, but that creates more carbon, I suppose.
Right.
So that becomes poisonous. So you
just
have to put it
seal
into
up that cavern?
You have to seal it into a cavern. So you have a seal, and then you send people in there who process that stuff into stuff you can use, I suppose.
Right.
Like fertilizer for growing plants
Yep.
underground.
It's a
Potatoes.
job to have.
Yeah.
And the tough thing is like when you have it in that room, it starts to become poisonous. So the people that run in there and do stuff have to hold their breath
Oh my
while they're
God.
working. So you can see their
Yeah.
little faces are like puckered up, and then they run out and then breathe and run in.
Is there no suits that they can?
There
wear,
may
like-
be suits, but it's quite primitive at the beginning. So
Right.
you have very little. So at the start of the game, they're always constantly running back to their
Yep.
oxygen supply that you start with.
Wow.
This reminds me a little bit of, at least in terms of the theme of the overarching theme of why you're trying where and why you're trying to survive. Sounds a little bit like a book called Seven Eves. I don't know if you've heard of it, but premise of the book is the Earth has the moon has exploded, and chunks of it will fall onto Earth, and basically all life on Earth is probably going to be wiped out. And they calculate that humans have about 2 years to plan some way to allow for the human race to survive. And so there's like a space station that is latched onto an asteroid that they're slowly burrowing into for resources and to expand functionally the space station. It's quite a good book. So
Yeah, it's cool.
worth reading.
Tell you what, Ryan, vacuum the toilet. Get some vacuum stuff in the toilet, so your boys don't have to deal with waste.
You're describing an airplane toilet.
I'm describing
But
Yeah.
it's not like
Just
a
the
whole
empty
bunch of
space, though.
free
Yeah.
space that you can like dump stuff into.
Mm.
It's just a cavern that has literally zero oxygen in it.
That's what the vacuum is?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I
If
imagine
you-
vacuums work.
So if you dig into that vacuum,
It'll probably just suck all the oxygen out.
yeah.
Mm.
But
I don't know, maybe it'll normalize,
It
but then
might
what you'll end up
normalize.
having
Right,
is
is half of
two
the
rooms
oxygen,
with severely reduced oxygen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Makes sense. Is it fun? Or is it just stressful?
It is. When I started playing it, it was very early in alpha, like early enough that they didn't even advertise it on the
Okay.
store. The only way to find it on Steam was if you specifically knew how to find the URL.
Right.
Oh wow.
Um,
How did you know how to find the URL then?
I just had a friend who was like, "Check this thing out," and he clicked on it, and then
Oh, wow.
I went there, and it's not on the store anyway. They started advertising it actually 2 days ago. That was when I got the first actual announcement on
Oh,
Steam
cool.
saying that it's now in early access. But before, when I was playing it about a month ago, you couldn't find it. It is quite fun though. But I can tell it's got that whole. I haven't even breached the surface on what you can do with it because I've seen like ice rooms and like burning rooms, and then there are certain types of monsters that you're supposed to harvest for things, and I'm too
wow.
scared to approach them, sort of thing. So I'm not even near what
This
I'm supposed to be
definitely
doing.
sounds more interesting to me than Don't Starve was. But this also sounds a lot like Terraria to some extent.
Yeah, but it's a god game, so they're
Right.
not really you.
Right.
That's one.
Okay.
That's one
That makes it
thematic difference.
interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And you get one new guy that pops in through the portal like every
Oh.
20 minutes or so.
Okay. That's cool.
So when you get new people arriving, you have to.
Oh wait,
be
so
able
is
to
that
account.
is that guaranteed that you'll get new people?
Yeah, there's a timer on the portal saying when.
Ah.
Oh, that's the other cool thing. When you start the game, you have control over like that. I completely forgot this part. Each person has traits, so that they have their gender, they have their look, which is entirely cosmetic, and then you have it's like one of those cards. I feel like it's like a D&D thing where they have a positive trait and a negative trait.
Oh yeah.
And then they've got a bunch of stats which make them good at certain things like strength or smarts. And then like some of the negatives will be narcolepsy, so these people just randomly fall over and
right.
pass out.
I really think that this type of like, because that's that comes from like Dwarf Fortress. Like I think that sort of thing where every little guy has his unique like stats. I think that's becoming like a new thing, that like the new genre kind of thing. Like there's a lot of
Hyper detailed.
yeah. Because I mean, that game I was talking about has that exact same thing, and there's like other games on Steam that have like
Right.
that sort of thing. Like what's that one?
I mean,
Where
this has
you're
been
on a
around
planet.
for quite a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's just sort of coming to the forefront now, I think.
There's that that space tactics game whose name now escapes me, but you play like an Earth defense organization and aliens. come
Oh,
down and
the
everything.
thing with the giant ants? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think so. What
Oh,
thing with
okay. There's a thing with giant ants called like Earth Defense Force, and you fight giant ants.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That was like a Counter-Strike mod or something, right?
No, it was its own game.
Really?
Yeah. It was on like PlayStation or something. Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it was known for being terrible, but so terrible that it's fun.
No, I'm talking about the one that they made a terrible first-person shooter of, like maybe 5 years ago. I can't believe I've forgotten the name right now.
Spore.
Sure, we'll say it was Spore. No, it wasn't Spore. Well, we'll move on.
Damn it, man! Now
anyway,
I'm...
it's been around for a while. There are lots of games where like you have your suite of sort of randomly generated characters who have a range of attributes and traits, and those are quite cool. And I've played a few of those games before, and I really enjoy them up to a point where the team becomes unmanageable.
Yep.
And those traits become functionally useless.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even actually the Fallout bunker game
Right.
had something like that, right? All your dudes have traits, and you can upgrade their traits, and their traits have an influence on their role within the bunker. But at some point, your bunker gets so big that it becomes like untenable to manage
Yeah.
the traits and do things efficiently.
Well, it would
Or at
become
least you
it would
can do it
become
and it
so big.
sucks.
It would become so big where and so sort of you're generating so many resources that you need that you don't need to micromanage like
Yeah.
people's, like you don't need to do the most optimal. You don't need to put the most optimal person in the most optimal job because
You've just got enough people who are
Yeah.
of high enough skill that it just
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It could just be a thing though, where like the people you start off with, like the starting circumstances of the game, and just the main challenge of those traits could just be how you tackle your initial challenges, and they become irrelevant later on, but it's still part of the game.
Yep. Yeah, I would enjoy if that was intentionally phased out as you advanced and not phased out because it just becomes too annoying.
if it was phased out, but then also like sort of group stats became a thing, you know. So like you were still managing.
As in, like you tie them into a party and you
Yeah.
bundle them or whatever.
Rather than like
Yeah.
micromanaging every single little person, you're like all the people doing the harvesting now have like a group set of stats that you manage, and you're managing these larger groups. You're micromanaging these larger groups of people. I don't know.
Another way of handling that
random-
would be to have rules set up in place that then automate where these workers go.
Yeah.
Like the highest intelligence people go here, then here, then here, and like you sort of cascade this along.
Yeah.
The highest strength people go here, then here, then here.
Because then you've really made a civilization that's just so running so well and so automated that everyone knows what to do. There's systems in place.
Not just that, but then you have room to do things like these people have defected, and like you can manage different kinds of problems, and you can move on to like the sort of problems that a larger, more organized society tends to have.
That's what I really like in Stellaris, where
That's crazy when they do that. Yeah.
when you're you start off micromanaging your planets,
Yeah.
and then you get to a certain point where it's too many planets to micromanage, but you then sector off.
Right.
You make like a region, and you give that region like a governor who has a bunch of stats, and then you can tell that region broadly what to do, like focus on research, focus on this, focus on that, and then you're then worrying about empire-wide stuff rather than specific planet stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I should play Stellaris.
Yeah.
I also
You've
like how
really had
in
fun
Stellaris,
with it.
like if your people don't agree with the way that you're governing your empire, they'll start creating factions within themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I've heard
that's
that.
been the new thing. Like they really overhauled the whole faction system, where the factions can I don't know exactly, but like they can really pressure you into actually changing your whole government.
Yep. So I picked the angry humans
Yeah.
as my starter.
The angry humans.
Yeah. So there are two human races. One which like a left wing thing, and then you've got like a warlike sort of people. You know, people like everyone else,
I
like
noticed-
xenophobes,
you've-
basically.
Yeah, you got the
said left wing for one group, and then notably called the other group something
so
different.
I say left wing because the first one's kind of like we love everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's our friend.
One's just-
everyone can come to our country. We trust every alien
Hippy
species
dippy
ever.
pinkos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna go with the xenophobic humans
Racist,
because I feel like
xenophobes.
because I feel like I will be safer in that group, and when I'm exploring this vast,
Right.
I don't want any gullible people. In
Like
my,
that's a fair enough assessment because you don't know what's out there. Like you don't want to automatically trust every alien that you come across.
Well, we know which side you're on, Blake.
yeah.
Well,
Well, the thing is, I would be naturally trusting, so I picked this race because like maybe these people will bring me in line,
right.
But what I didn't actually expect is they actually would. I wasn't expecting that at all. I still thought I would still have some control over my relationships with other alien races, but it turns out I kind of really don't, because being part of these people and like politically pressured, I have to fit this role that I'm playing, which is
Right.
kind of cool. So when I meet a new alien, I get 5 different options to say hello. And they're all just like variants of fuck off.
Oh man.
Wow. So it's basically that you are the governing leader of a group of people who have specific wants and desires, and as the like representative for them, you have to act on those wants and desires. And if you don't, they rebel.
Yeah,
Or something.
and they have started because
That's
because I'm
awesome.
still learning the game, and I'm not really good at building up armies. Like
Right.
only 2 hours in, my people are starting to get restless and like, why aren't we out there beating the shit out of everyone right now?
Well, it can also go in the other direction. Like if you start interacting more and more with alien civilizations, a faction of xenophiles will probably pop up that then are like pressuring you to do more more inclusive stuff, and then if they get big enough, they could they could force you to change your entire government.
That's interesting that you are sort of, to some extent, at the whim of the people who you're governing.
I really like it. Like the old faction system was like nothing like that. It's
Right.
It's so much better now.
This sounds very, very interesting. I think I'm gonna have to pick this up.
I was recently playing a hive mind, and they have no factions at all because you're just one dude.
I kind of like that as well, though.
Yeah.
Saveun, does this game interest you?
A little bit.
What if I pick it up, you pick it up, these two already have it, and we do a multiplayer section?
Wait, what are you talking about? Stellaris. Oh, okay.
No, I'm not that.
Well, you know,
as
we've
soon
been-
as it gets like to that kind of competition thing,
Oh, man.
I can't do it.
You don't have to compete is the thing.
Oh yeah.
Can work together.
We can all collaborate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we've been playing Stellaris at work on every second Friday.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, and like we were forming federations. We were generally like pretty good. It never got to the point where it was like a full-on galactic war. Not really.
You did aggressively go after one player.
Well, yeah, because he was very aggressive to
Yeah.
begin with.
He did tell everybody.
Yep, he told
What the
everyone how
strategy
aggressive
was.
he was going to be, so he just set
Everyone
himself
paired.
He was pretty salty about how you won that in the end.
His fault for
because
saying he's gonna beat everyone.
like the way I heard it was Blake was funding the war against him without actually participating.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty sly. That was pretty
Yeah.
awesome. And like you'd go back to your desk and he'd still be salty about it for the next
That's
10
great.
minutes. That was really awesome to hear that you could do that.
Yeah, that is actually my favorite thing to do in Stellaris is to fund wars against players that I don't want to get.
It must feel really empowering.
Yeah, it was great.
You used to be able. I mean, I think you could do that in Civ, right?
For sure.
You could send troops and money to the city
Oh, yeah,
states that
yeah.
would
That
were aggressive
In,
with your
in
enemies.
Stellaris, I don't think you can actually like give people troops. But
Okay.
if you see that there's like a war happening and you want one side to win, you can just start sending the money, and they, because they're at war, will just build more and more ships
This
to fight the
is-
war.
But how much money were you
Exactly.
sending? Were you?
I was
were you-
sending thousands of.
but were you like gutting yourself doing this?
Not really.
Because I feel like whenever I gave tribute in Civilization, I never really saw that much of an impact.
right.
I was just hurting myself
Yeah.
on this gamble.
Well,
I-
maybe
I
that's
never
a, maybe
really
had,
saw it pay off.
that-
There were
that-
certain organization. There's I think the Romans had benefits for functionally funding city states, and you could potentially send them enough money and troops that they would be able to not just like defend against, but also fight back your enemies. It obviously, like, you don't have direct control of those units, so you also don't have direct control over their politics. So if they decide to like settle their differences with your enemy, you've just lost all of that. So there's a risk there. But there's also, like, the benefit is you can take aggressive action against an enemy without overtly taking aggressive action.
Yep.
it's passive aggressive.
So
action.
it does. It could work, but it was always a bit of a gamble.
Well, I mean, I think it just comes down to how smart the AI is.
Yeah, it depends on the difficulty you play on as well.
Because I mean, in Stellaris, if they're just at war, it's pretty much guaranteed that any extra money they have will be put towards building fleets. If I just sent the money in peacetime, I don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
I always got really frustrated. I don't know, maybe I was playing it wrong, but whenever I played like Civilization with AI, they never had money. Ever. They were always dead broke. Like
Oh,
less than
really?
$100
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Shit.
And I'm like,
Well,
what's
but
wrong
Did
with
they
you?
just play on some weird optimization where they're just like,
Like efficiently spending their
Yeah,
money all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. But they
That's
just,
probably
whenever
what it
things
was.
went wrong, they had nothing
right?
to fall back on.
Right. They'd be like,
They didn't have that nest
please,
Huh?
let's end this war. I'll give you all 4 of my gold.
egg. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And that, they'd lose the war and all of a sudden they'd be in debt.
Yeah.
With no gold, and they'd be losing more per turn
Oh.
than they had, and then they'd have 0 gold for the rest of the game.
my
It's just
God.
like, you suck.
I think I must have mentioned the last time I played Civ, the way I was waging war with people was just buying their cities.
I always found that like a real hazard to do in Civ because even if you just bought one city, they would
Yeah.
hold that against you
Yeah.
for the rest of the game.
But then you just keep buying more of their cities, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm only one city now."
Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Saveun, what have you been playing?
Not too much, Nick. Yeah, it's probably not even worth talking about.
Okay. Let's
Where
move on.
where you at in Horizon?
Jeez, I took over a bandit camp. I'm heading out towards the top middle of the map.
Okay.
This is after climbing a tall tower.
Classic open world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
What was
some
at the top of the tower?
Ubisoft shit. I shouldn't say because it would be a spoiler type
Oh
thing.
man.
Oh man. Okay.
But you know what? I did play a little Grand Theft Auto last weekend.
Oh yeah.
The good game.
The good game. The one good game.
Yep.
Oh, did you like that game?
They did some. They're doing some pretty cool shit. With their online thing. It's gone to the point where.
I like that you're like, you might not have known this, but Rockstar makes some pretty cool things.
Well, it's
I
like they
this game.
let.
They do some cool online stuff. Sorry, go on.
Well, they're doing like wacky shit. It almost feels like Micro Machines.
Oh, whoa.
So they've got this online racing mode where you can jump and like use a parachute. So you've got these huge ramps that you can
That's
then
pretty cool.
jump off, and then to make the jump, you actually have to use a parachute halfway
Oh,
through
man.
to like glide towards the landing
pretty
pad.
neat.
Yeah,
Did,
it's incorporated into it.
Do you ever have any interest in playing Just Cause?
Nope.
Because I mean,
That's
that.
basically what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got parachutes.
Oh yeah, and wing gliding suits,
How's their multiplayer?
Grappling
I don't
hooks
know.
and all sorts
grappling
of stuff.
hooks. Yeah, They got. If you want to do like I've forgotten the word, but whatever that word is a verb.
Extremely
And Just
high
Cause is
mobility.
exactly what you want.
Yeah. They've got a lot of like
Parkour with cars.
extremely high
Parkour
mobility
with cars and
things.
parachutes.
There's also a game from several years ago called Crackdown, which was all about like extreme mobility in an open world.
Yeah, I don't look for that kind of thing in an open world. I need a good
Except here
base.
you are bragging about how cool it is. You've got also mobility in Rockstar's online game.
And it looks good. That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
Yeah, the main thing is it needs to look good first thing, and then it
Right.
can do cool shit.
Okay.
It needs to be like Picasso in that way, where you're an actual good artist, and then you can start fucking with
It's
that.
interesting you went with Picasso.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just what popped into my
Who's your
head.
favorite artist?
I don't think I have one.
Rockstar.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Who's an artist that you really enjoy?
I don't think I have one. Yeah, I like Troy's. I like Troy stuff.
Oh,
Troy
okay.
does some cool work.
You,
I didn't
you,
mean-
do you
I
mean
didn't
traditional
I meant
artists? You mean
just
like
like a museum artist, fine artist.
Oh,
like
like a
Michael-
Leonardo. type?
Yeah, like a
he's
Ninja
good.
Turtle.
He's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
the blue
the blue
Ninja
one.
Turtle.
Blue Man Group.
No, the blue Ninja Turtle. Da Vinci.
Blue Man Group.
Is that a Arrested Development?
No one
No,
likes
Blue Man Group's a real group.
Is it?
Yeah,
You didn't know this?
yeah. They do
Huh.
weird musical shows with like objects.
Like in Arrested Development.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Did you have anything like a follow up to that question?
No, I was just
Okay.
curious who you liked.
What did you like, Nick? Who's your fine artist?
Uh,
You strike me as a Jackson Pollock kind of guy.
I'm not. No,
Okay.
no, I'm not a fan of Jackson.
You're Banksy.
No, I actually also don't.
Really?
I
You don't like
really
Banksy stuff?
Don't really
Come
like
on, man.
Banksy either.
Oh wait,
they're
Blake's
kinda-
Banksy.
I am
He's
Banksy.
chaos neutral.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I quite like Monet. I like that his impressionism.
Wait, what?
Like-
What's a famous painting? they've
There's
done?
I don't know what it's called, but it's the one with like there's a woman on a bridge with an umbrella, and you can see like the water. Pretty sure
Just
that's-
described like almost every painting.
There's like a landscape.
Oh, the screaming
And
one
there's yeah.
on the bridge. Yeah. I know the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a person on a bridge. I automatically thought, oh, the scream.
Who was it? I was talking to someone recently, and they were telling me something about Monet, and they said that he realized late in life that one of his eyes wasn't working properly, and like he did this by he covered up one eye and did a painting, and then he covered up his other eye and like revealed the other eye
Wait, but
It's
that's
what eyes,
a
basically.
normal phenomena though.
and did another painting, and the colors were different.
But there's a normal phenomena that people have where like if you cover one eye, you can recognize what an object is, but you can't say what it is.
What?
And if you cover the other one,
What?
yeah, this is definitely a thing. I've
What?
definitely read that
No.
before, where that's a literal thing that everyone has, and like that's how they proved that your eyes are associated with one side of your brain, by saying like, well, this one uses like the right side of your brain for doing something. This one only uses the left brain. So just that part, like
This sounds insane.
it's definitely real.
I wanna see a cited source
Okay,
on
yeah.
this Ryan PD.
Well, we can
article.
test
Yeah.
it right now. Cover one of your eyes and tell me what this object is.
Or the
Hand.
other one was like they knew, the other one was like they knew what it was and they could say it, but they couldn't draw it or something weird like that.
I think I know the one you're talking about. It was people with like half their brain removed, or some shit.
Yeah, I suspect there was probably a condition involved here, not just people in general cover up one eye.
No.
Can't name an
It
object.
definitely did talk about that as part of it, as an additional proof about this theory. But it was definitely something that everyone had.
Interesting.
This sounds insane.
Yeah, I'll definitely look it up.
Yep,
later.
please do.
over burgers.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
We're having burgers later.
Let's do
listeners.
some questions, man.
Okay, let's go to.
There was one more game I really
Oh,
wanted.
sorry,
to
go
talk
ahead.
Yeah.
Dead Cells. It only came out this week or last week. Have any of you played Rogue Legacy before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I played Rogue Legacy.
So it's like Rogue Legacy in the aspect where it's like a 2D side-scrolling platformer, where you go through these dungeons, and when you die, you start again with a new character.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's way better.
Why is it better?
Awesome.
So it's got this like the Binding of Isaac thing where like your character is basically defined by the items that you randomly find in the game. And it also has the Rogue Legacy thing where you can buy upgrades for those items that make them better as you go. It's got a dodge mechanic, which I don't think Rogue Legacy had.
Don't remember a dodge in Rogue Legacy.
I mean, there was.
There might have been
there were
abilities
some-
where you could
some
dash.
high mobility.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
dash for
abilities,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one has like a shift for a dodge roll and has a jump attack. So if you're in the air, you can like double tap down and you just go slam into an AoE slam at the bottom, which is really satisfying.
Cool.
You have 2 weapon slots, which you can use. You can put anything in either one. So you can have 2 shields or 2 bows.
Oh,
That's neat.
awesome.
Or a sword and a shield. And the way
Yep.
it works is...
Hang on. How do you use 2 bows?
Well,
You hit
left
people with them.
mouse click is one and right mouse click is the other.
Yeah, but you're
And the-
holding a bow in each hand.
It's
you can't
not
hold
each
an
hand.
arrow.
It's not. It's just 2 weapon slots.
But wait, what?
It's 2 weapon slots. That you
Okay.
have.
Yeah.
So you've got your main hand and your offhand.
Right.
And you're not using them in tandem.
Okay.
You're using one at a time, and because bows take time to draw, you're using one, stop, put it away, and then you can use the other and put it away.
Okay. Okay. I was picturing him holding 2 bows,
No,
Dual
no.
wielding bows.
trying to like shoot one
Yep.
bow with another bow.
Yeah, and then you've got 2 ability slots, which are different items with active skills and stuff.
Okay.
And it's got the whole mage, rogue, warrior sort of thing going
Oh,
on.
cool. Yeah.
So the 3 axes are like health for endurance, and then you've got your skill. You can like buff your skill stats to make your cooldowns faster, so you can use them more often, or you can just straight up boost your weapon damage. So my favorite one that I like to use is I use rogue daggers, which is I do a crit every 3rd consecutive hit, and my other weapon is like Kamehameha, like Frost Nova Cone.
Nice.
Right.
So I'll group up enemies and then freeze them all at once, and then just go ham on all of them and crit
Yep.
them all at once.
Nice.
And it's an insane amount of fun. It's really hard to play.
What was it called again?
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells. Why is it called Dead Cells?
I think it's because I don't know. It's like you're like a weird blob of like cell organism
Okay.
that like falls out of a sewer, and then you roll onto this headless body,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
the bioorganism kind of becomes the head. It
Right.
kind of looks like oh, I don't even know what it looks like. I was gonna say like it looks Risk of Rainy sort of,
Okay.
but better.
So it's got some.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool
8-bit,
pixelated art style
yeah.
sort of thing.
I feel at this point, time to move on from pixelated art.
Nah.
I think you can ring out some more
unless you have
pixels.
unless you have something new to
Yeah.
do with that. Like
I
it feels like a shortcut to nostalgia, and every time I see it, I like it less.
I think I mean, that lanky pixel art, I still really enjoy. You know, like the sword and sorcery.
So that's an
That-
example of something they were doing something new with.
Yeah,
that,
yeah, they
right?
were doing something new, and a whole bunch of people have followed along from that. And I think you're kind of right. It is a shortcut to an awesome looking screenshot and making people go, shit, that looks cool. It looks like sword and sorcery. I'm going to buy that, and then find out that the gameplay is different and or a completely different game, and you're like, I don't know.
Saveun, you like art.
Dude, love it.
Cool. Let's move on.
man.
No, what do you think about
About pixel art?
Yeah.
Like anything, Nick, is a spectrum.
Okay.
So good pixel art is
Right.
always good.
But what do you
Obviously.
can you give me an example of some pixel art you think is good?
I like the sword and sorcery shit.
Sword and sorcery is great. Like, and it was the first time that pixel art had been used in that weird lanky way.
Yeah, the game dev story pixel art I love.
Yeah.
There
The
are
Kairosoft original one?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Flappy Bird. That was garbage. I hate as soon as you start rotating pixels.
Yeah.
Yep, that's not pixel art in
Right.
my opinion.
It's Ryan has just handed me his phone with screenshots of this is
Dude,
there's
this
too many
happens
things.
every time you hand Nick a device. He instantly
It's
just
true.
wrecks everything.
A million things pop up and I ruin it. Actually, that does look pretty good. But it's interesting because it looks like they're not actually sticking. No, this isn't. This is some weird amalgamation of like pixel art and like
Yeah, like normal textures that have
multi-layered.
look like to have been-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that actually looks pretty good. What I get annoyed at is stuff that looks like everything is Mega Man basically. You know.
You're talking about Shovel Knight here. You got some Shovel Knight beef.
I mean, yeah, that is an example of a game that was 8-bit, and like why?
Nostalgia.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Damn it.
It's nostalgia without adding
the one
anything
thing
new.
I like about this kind of style though is, so for example, Dead Cells isn't perfect on animation. Like if I'm sprinting along a corridor and I'll do an abrupt jump down a ladder,
Yeah.
then it'll just snap from what he was doing to going down the ladder. I think part of it being pixelated and muddied a bit is it puts me in a frame of mind where I'm more forgiving about the way things look.
Yes.
So that's why I like it. That's why I don't really like realistic looking games like 3D Grand Theft Auto stuff, because then it becomes not Grand Theft Auto, but
Keep
Grand
going.
Theft Auto style.
there.
Because then then the issues start to become way too apparent to me and it
Yeah.
irritates me.
That's like I think that's kind of a known common thing in game development, because I remember way back hearing from like the World of Warcraft devs and them saying that they went with this really super cartoony look because you're more forgiving for the mistakes that they make where that falls down, whereas like if you got something really realistic, the mistakes kind of stand out
Yep.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same thing the Pixar guys were saying when they started doing Toy Story and shit.
Right. So I mean, I don't mind that as an excuse. What I do mind is when there's no effort made to be creative with it,
Right.
because you can use that technique to cut costs and still do something interesting.
Do you have an example, or are you this is just in general, you're just like pixel art, man, I'm sick
Well,
of it.
like even Rogue Legacy, right? I mean, I that's a really fun game,
Yeah.
but that just looks like any other side-scrolling 8-bit
Right.
game. It's just, I mean, do something new.
This
Do
guy's
something interesting.
cool because he's got like a scarf
Yeah,
that waves
the screen
in the
screenshot you
wind.
sent
That
showed
looks
me
really cool, and his like bioorganism head is gestating
Ooh.
as you move and stuff, and it idle. So that looks like some organic, crazy, gross thing going on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to try that game out.
And
as
the
well.
particles are awesome. The particles are amazing.
Particles are awesome, right? God damn it, Nick! It's really hard to make art.
I don't doubt it.
This is Nick's ongoing beef with artists.
Yeah, I
I
just
think.
hate
That's-
art.
Yeah,
Hate
but
art and
also he's
artists.
just like, it looks like pixel art, therefore it needs to be really good. Otherwise, I'm gonna rag on it. But
Well, do you-
3D art's really tough to make. Like when,
Good
when
3D art.
I'm
like,
not. I'm not
So-
saying it needs to be 3D. I'm not at all, because there are many things you can do with 2D art.
You're just saying not the 8-bit,
Right.
like just for the sake of being 8-bit.
When someone is developing a game and they go, I'm gonna make it 8-bit because all the games I like are 8-bit, and I want to hit that nostalgia mark, and I'm just gonna follow the same like sprite format that every other game uses. It's frustrating. Like why? Now I can't tell your game apart from any other game in the same giant growing pool of 8-bit games. And that is like a mistake.
When are low poly, like early 90s, gonna come back?
They're in, man. Oh wait, early 90s.
Early
in, like,
90s, like
The original Star Fox.
Yeah, like early
That
PlayStation 1.
That shitty like flat shaded.
Yeah, when is that coming back
low
and be
poly
like,
stuff?
yeah, man,
That's in, man.
It's nostalgia, man.
A lot of.
What
have
game?
you seen
What would
that
I know?
Office Simulator? Is
No,
it
that's not.
Job Simulator?
That's not.
No?
That's
Flat shaded,
yeah.
low
That's
poly.
that's flat
garbage?
shaded. It's not particularly low poly though. I don't think. Like
Really low poly.
not. I mean, not like how
Everything's
not like
faceted?
original Tomb Raider that I'm thinking of. Where
Oh,
it's like
you think that should come back?
yeah, where I'm yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where it was
Everything
like,
looks bad.
Triangle
yeah,
face,
yeah, triangle face. Like,
I looked
among
at
other things.
when are people gonna be like
Final
that? When
Fantasy
kids in the
VII.
yeah, Final Fantasy VII exactly.
Oh, man.
When are kids from the 90s who are now game developers gonna be like, yeah, man, I'm gonna tap into that
Blake-
90s nostalgia.
Blake, have you heard of World of Warcraft?
Oh,
Boom.
They're getting. I feel like those models are getting really good. though.
those
Yeah.
No, they are.
those
They
are
had
those are
a-
really good now. Like
They had a
it's-
second version. That
yeah.
came in.
Yep. They have been incrementally improving their graphics.
I feel like their armor has kind of gone through a cycle where it's now I don't see any difference between this particular expansion and like this other two expansion. Like
Oh
two
right,
expansions
just
ago.
because
Yes.
it's hit that level.
Yeah,
you
but,
like
but the models themselves are looking incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I was reading the blogs for like how they were redesigning the races, stuff like the new dwarf and the new druid things. Man, and I wasn't even playing the game. I didn't have a description for like 2 years. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's incredible to look at.
Yeah, they
It
do
is.
some really cool shit.
their in-game cutscenes now are just fantastic. They're
Yeah.
shockingly good.
Yeah, they've been working on that game so long. They just
Yeah.
know how to work on that game. And that's really, I think, just like with Path of Exile, the more
Yep,
we
that's
work
true.
on it, the more efficient we get at being able to add new cool stuff. That's one of the advantages of. I was thinking about this last night. That's one of the advantages of an online persistent game is a game like World of Warcraft. They may have spent like $60 million to develop it initially, or whatever it was, like whatever amount of money, but then they keep putting money into developing that game. And at this point, it's like that game was probably like $700 million spent on making that game. So it looks and plays like a $700 million game, even though that was like over many years.
Yeah. I mean, that is the key. Is that it's kind of not a finished product
Right.
because it's constantly being worked on.
Yeah. They keep finding new ways and keep finding reasons to add more stuff. Of course, there's also the problem of they keep simplifying things and polishing it. And
I mean, we talked about that
and I just
before.
lose
Yeah.
interest, but
Wait, a little more about art. Just
Yeah.
to finish. It's pixel art because people, it represents a thing. They can use your imagination to fill it in, like the rest of it, right?
but that's the problem. Is no, you're not.
No?
They're not using their imagination, and
No,
so
no.
I'm not using mine either. Like
So what you'd rather have more detail is what you're saying?
no, I want them to do so. Like okay, Sword and Sorcery is a great example of a game that used pixel art in an interesting way.
Yep, I agree.
But then, like, let's use Rogue Legacy as the example. It was a great game, but that art style looks like so many other pixelated games.
I've got to see this game. I don't
Rogue
know.
Legacy.
Yeah.
Right.
But with 3D, it's like it's too detailed, and so you look at and usually it's like poorly executed. So you're just seeing these like garbage 3D models.
Well, okay, there's a game I showed you about 2 weeks ago called Darwinia. Do you remember that? It was a wireframe and like black and neon wireframe game, basically. Does this ring a bell?
No.
Okay, well, I'll have to show you it later. If you're at a computer right now and you're listening, look up Darwinia. That's a great example of a 3D game. Very, very low poly, very, very simple visually, but very striking visually.
Okay.
And that, like, you can do in the same way that 8-bit can be a shortcut for cheap, effective graphics, and you can still do something interesting with it.
Mhm.
I think you can do the same with 3D. Ryan is showing you, what is that?
Rogue Legacy.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it does. It just looks like your typical Castlevania game.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
But that's the thing. It's fine. It just looks like every other 8-bit game.
Yeah, fine.
I just get annoyed because it's like
I
last 10
don't.
years of games. have
Yeah, I
been
mean there
8-bit.
is definitely a lot of 8-bit games that are trying to hit that nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's the thing is that there aren't as many good ones as you would like. Like Shovel Knight was, I never played it, but Shovel Knight was apparently insanely good.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah. But for every Shovel Knight, might be like 10, mediocre 8-bit
Yep.
games.
What I don't like is just how Nick could come along and say, pixel art's been around for 30 years. I want to see something original.
But I mean, you can do it.
Can you?
Sword and Sorcery did it.
Well, show me, Nick. Show me this original pixel art that you're seeing.
I mean, I'm not.
Swan
I'm-
Sorcerer is like
it's,
fantastic.
it's
I
in the
think,
same.
though.
Okay, because I am not an artist
Mm.
does not mean I can't comment on what I like and don't.
No, I
don't
know,
like
but
in the art.
it's the foundation where that comment's coming from is it's
I guess maybe it's the unique aspect of how they execute it that gives it character.
Yeah.
pixel art.
Yeah, well,
Any-
like if one type of art style looks exactly like another game, it just kind of muddies it up a bit. I feel that's how I feel about Unity games. Whenever I look at a Unity game and I immediately identify it, it kind of disappoints me because I feel like they haven't tried hard enough to differentiate the game. So
Yeah.
I won't appreciate it because I just can't get over the fact.
Art is such an important part of a game's identity, as you know, right? And to take the easy route with your game's visual identity is to really like hurt your game's prospects of standing out. And there's so many pixelated indie games that you need to do something. Even if you fail at it, at least take the risk of trying something strange.
I got an example for you. Stardew Valley. When that first came out and I
Yeah.
saw screenshots of that, I was like, this game looks like bullshit. It looks like some, what is it, like Game Maker, which I think it was made in Game Maker.
Right.
But it looked like every other Game Maker game I've ever seen. Forget about it. I'm not even going to play it. And then I started hearing about it more and more and was like, oh shit, this is actually an insanely like deep and awesome ass game. It just looks like a million mediocre
Right.
games,
And that can be achieved not just through like the actual character design and the world design, but like through color palette, right? If you made, for example, a black and white and gray 8-bit game, that's immediately more interesting, and you can probably like tie mechanics into that in some way. That becomes the groundwork for potentially the game design as well.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Nick. It's just that the statement of I want to see something original really pisses me off. As someone who
I guess
creates stuff, it
maybe
really
maybe
bothers me.
maybe
Yeah.
the better thing to say is you want to see more personality.
Sure, but
in the
like
game.
the studios that make it, they make these calculations of what they can and can't do. Obviously, they don't give a fuck. They're just trying to make characters really
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
So, and they're probably focusing on gameplay. I don't know.
I love games for their gameplay primarily, but I also realize that with the volume of small studios putting out indie platformers, and the volume of them using pixelated art, it seems silly to me. The excuse can't be it's quicker to make it look because it looks like everything else, because you can still make things very quickly and still have a unique art style. You just establish what that art style is. It's the same techniques. It's just finding a way to express your game in a way that makes your game stand out against the thousands and thousands and thousands of other like pixelated games. I see what you're saying. I can show you examples of games that I think do this well.
Mm-hmm.
I personally probably couldn't do it, but I'm also I'm not an artist. But if I were to be running a game studio and I said, let's make an indie platformer and let's go with pixel art. If my artist said, here's some sprites for Mega Man, let's do this, I would say, no, try again. Give me something Like try playing with color palette, try playing with the size of the sprites, whatever. Like there's so many different ways you can differentiate it. It seems lazy to not do it.
I feel I understand why you're so excited about Cuphead now.
Yes, exactly. That is a 2D game, and then that one would have taken really, really long time because those are really beautifully animated sprites. But that's a perfect example of a 2D side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah,
who's
original. It's already been done. That's not original.
The art styles is. When was the last time you saw that in a game?
Well, that's the thing. It's been done before.
Yeah, it's a movie. Like,
dude, like early cartoons did it. So it's just a throwback. It's just retro.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly like going on about the 8-bit nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's like 20s cartoon nostalgia, but it hasn't been in a game yet.
It's not played out. It's the first game that's done this.
Yeah.
It's not
I mean, it's a different medium. It's fair game.
Yeah, but the thing is, in 10 years, when every indie platformer coming out is a Cuphead
when that looks like that, when Jimmy's Punch World.
So you're basically saying
8,000
I haven't seen a game like this before. It's been done before. You want to see things that you just haven't been.
No,
haven't
I think
recently.
Nick
you're
just
missing
wants
the point. My point is, if something can have been done before, and you can still there's lots of first person shooters that just look realistic, right? And that's fine. I don't want 1,000 Cupheads. I'd be fine with a few Cupheads. I'd be fine with a few Mega Man lookalikes. I don't want every single indie platformer to look like Mega Man because that sucks and is boring.
Nick, I get it. It's a bit of burnt out. You're being burnt out.
Before.
That's exactly it. He's getting burned out on these.
That's fine.
Yes,
Don't play
I
it.
am.
Exactly it.
Fine.
Yeah.
But I think
I'm
everyone
the same,
else
dude.
will
I
as
want
well.
to see really good 3D, and very
Good.
few games actually check that out. Check that box
Yes.
for me, and that's why I haven't been playing anything because everything's garbage right now.
Oh my god. There isn't like we did go through a
Mass
phase
Effect
of like
sucks.
heaps of quite a few good games came out. Well,
When
new games came out. Horizon, Zelda, Mass Effect.
Mass Effect, I wouldn't consider.
I haven't played it. I mean, I've seen the videos. That's something. But now it's just like it's a bit of a desert at the moment with no.
Yeah, it sucks. I'm really waiting for announcements on E3.
Yeah.
That's my next game.
Oh,
I saw
I want to get your
on
thoughts.
that Western thing.
No.
Okay.
I this is something completely different, but I want to get your thoughts on the Witcher
TV
series that's
The
coming to Netflix.
Non-CD Projekt Red.
Yep.
Well, you like the story, so I think it appeals to you.
Yep.
I couldn't care less. I've told you, like the video game stories are garbage. John Carmack summed it up back in the day.
Oh yeah.
When he was like, video game stories are as important as like stories in pornos. It's like,
Well,
That made
Bill
me so
Gates summed
angry.
it up about 20 years ago when he said you'll never need more than 4 megabytes of RAM.
yep.
And he was wrong.
Yeah.
You think they're the same statements? They're
Well,
fine?
you've just,
To be
it's
fair.
a famous person
Yeah.
who, John Carmack's still relevant, Bill Gates still relevant, but that can't be true. Like, we have all these Telltale games as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm not that guy.
And, we're talking about... Isn't
And
he
now
the guy
he's
who
talking
made,
about a TV show.
like John Carmack? Was it like Quake or Doom? Which one?
I think it was Doom.
Doom that he made? No one's looking for a story in that game, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's his game. He can only speak for Doom. He can't speak for...
Well, I'm just saying, like, my opinions are aligned with his.
Okay.
With that statement.
So you're saying you've never played a game whose story moved you?
I think Firewatch was one of the better ones.
You're saying you've never watched a porn whose that story has moved you?
Right.
I love the pizza.
Firewatch.
That piece of delivery one.
Those
Oh,
auditions, man. Holy shit.
Firewatch has a great story and it's really well told.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a porno story, right?
Firewatch?
You acknowledge this as to be the truth?
Nick, this is not relevant. You can't just take
We
that
want different
what I
things.
said and apply it to the show.
but you're saying is like, all right.
I'm sure there's a porn story in there to be told.
But yeah, some games do story well. That's
Yeah.
fine. But when Blake's asking me, how do I feel about an IP that I was never interested in the start, about a TV, I barely watch TV now. I barely play video games now. How do I feel about it?
How do you feel about
Not
it?
even on my radar, Blake. That's how I feel about it. The
Cool,
visuals
alright.
will be better at least. Graphically.
Sweet.
Yeah, but we talked about this at work
Yeah.
a little bit, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I get why Netflix is probably jumping on this.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Certainly.
Again, that universe never appealed to me.
You're certainly very heated for someone that doesn't care about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because for some reason I have to defend myself against this IP. It's not even related.
Have you ever played it?
No,
There you go. There you go. That's why, because you refuse to play it,
I've heard so much about that game.
but you haven't played it. So just, you know what? If you played it for an hour, I'm sure Blake would never mention it again.
Blake and I
Oh,
know.
I'll
He's
mention it.
probably
every
mentioned
day.
it a lot. He'd
Blake
probably
and I
mention it
know
every
of
day.
a guy who works for CG Project Red.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So, and Cam has told me about this guy, and he's told me how garbage that game is, technically. So, I don't, like, everything I know about that game is true. I haven't heard anything.
We got to get you playing it, but
Yeah.
we're too busy with work, and so it's going to have to be after 3.0, I reckon.
Yeah, we've got to get some hardware too.
Yeah.
So much work to do.
Yep. That's
Anyway,
That's the damn truth.
man.
Well,
Good stuff.
how do you feel about this?
We're out of time.
I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it.
We're pretty much out of time. We had
Can
some,
we do one question?
well, I don't know. They're all pretty long.
Can we throw
there's-
something at Ryan at least?
Yeah, actually, that's a very
all right.
good idea.
All right. Has he answered the pizza question?
Yeah,
Okay. Has he answered the space or dinosaurs question?
I can't remember.
Space or
Sound
dinosaurs?
familiar?
Well then,
I don't
Ryan.
understand.
Can you just pitch it like that?
Space
Without
or dinosaurs?
defining.
Space or dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs?
Wrong. Move-
Yes.
Okay. Would you rather see?
Yes!
Like, the real
Dinosaurs.
question. The real question is: would you rather see a dinosaur or go to space?
I don't like space very much. I don't think I want to be there.
Interesting. Why?
Oh, I think maybe you'd.
I'm scared of oceans. And space is
That's pretty
basically
far away from an ocean, though.
space is pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, a giant ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Star
Metaphorically.
you might say.
Sure.
Without anything.
No fish in there. It's
It's empty.
not salty.
It's just an
Vast ocean.
infinitely bigger ocean.
No waves. Well, I guess there are waves.
Just gravity wave.
Yeah. Yeah. And light comes as
Light-
a wave and a particle. So.
Yeah. You can ride them.
Yeah.
Ride them
I
light
take
waves.
I take it back. Space is an ocean.
I don't know. I just have dreams about being on the bottom of the ocean. I think to myself, I'm fucked. And
Wow.
and then I'd have the same thing about space. I'm up there and I'm like, I'm fucked. At least with dinosaurs, I'm still here. The
So
thing
you
I
think
know,
if you see a T-Rex, you're not going to go. "I'm
Yeah, you're
fucked."
not gonna get eaten by a dinosaur.
maybe.
But you'll be
You've
like,
seen
this is-
Jurassic Park,
At
right?
I've
least I'm
seen
not
Jurassic
drowning.
Park.
There's
You
never
just
been
stand
a-
completely still, right?
There's never been a happy ending to Jurassic Park. It's always
Stand completely
everyone's
still.
died.
feel
Or,
that-
or was it you make yourself look really big? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll just
you
try
make
a
yourself-
combination of them both together. I'll look really
man.
big and not move.
Work for Jeff Goldblum. So
Well, that's it. We're out of time.
that's it.
Ryan answered the most important question we have, other than the pizza one.
I got a question.
All right.
Maybe this is maybe this is also
Who's it for?
this is for everyone, and we don't have to answer it, but we can just end on this. All right. What's the opposite of a ninja?
Of a ninja.
Yeah.
Uh,
These are bullshit questions.
this is
as well.
this is
Like, where do you get these from?
That's like saying what's the opposite of a box? Like, you can't have an opposite of an object. It's just an object. You can just have a different
All right,
object.
fine. Your answer is to criticize the question.
To answer your question, a moose. I would say a moose.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
they're large.
Because my thinking is that it's got to be something not stealthy that can't kill you.
Not
Ninjas
carbon
will kill
based.
you.
Okay, so then a cow, like, would that be closer?
Something they just see coming a mile away that you always know is there.
You know, I was.
The sun.
I think that's one
Yeah.
one to ponder on.
I don't know.
Nick,
though.
I think
like
you know.
those
I think
those
it's the
things
sun.
that you're describing could just be a really clever ninja.
Wait, what? How?
Like the things you least expect. You're like, oh yeah,
Right.
that's the thing there. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm
out
just going
it's
to
a
carry on
ninja.
with my life.
Right.
But then it unfolds and it's actually a ninja.
yeah. That makes sense.
Well,
All right.
anyway, that's something for the listeners to ponder on for the next
Blake,
2
these
weeks.
are not cool, man.
If you have an
can't-
answer to that question, or you think it was a silly question, email frenzyquestions@gmail.com. Specifically, address Blake and say, you can't have the opposite of an object. It's just another object.
Just message me and say, stop asking these stupid questions.
yeah, these bookended shitty questions. Can't keep doing this.
You can also tweet at FrontSeatCast. We've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/FrontSeatCast, and a WordPress site, frontseatgamer.wordpress.com. We're also on YouTube, and we're part of the Australian Gaming Podcast Network, which is hashtag AGP on Twitter, and AGPN Network on Facebook. And we'll be back in a couple weeks if we're not too busy trying to get Path of
shit.
Exile.
I've got an announcement.
You got a question?
Whoa.
I've got an announcement.
An announcement.
But also, I want to say, if you want to chime in on art stuff for Nick, get in there.
Go for it.
We've got
Tell me-
we've got Jonathan on.
That's true.
yes.
Yeah, we'll have
Episode.
Jonathan on,
Definitely. Yeah.
on the next podcast. Email how wrong I am about art. Be on Saveun's team.
And we want to
be
see some of Nick's art. We want to see me play The Witcher for some reason. We want to see art from Nick.
Okay.
And Blake just has to stop with these. Yep. Jonathan's on the next episode.
Yep. Look
Like,
forward to
just
that.
needs to stop talking altogether. And
Thank you very much for coming in, Ryan.
No problem.
that was great, man.
Yeah.
Started
Great.
some
Thank
good
you.
arguments, unintentionally, and
I started them.
you've been a good guest. A+.
Cool. Excellent.
Bye.
Goodbye.
The questions I like to ask are like, could Flash run faster on a bike?
Run faster on a bike.
Can't run on a bike.
No, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
If he was on a bike, would
Could
he
he
move
get-
faster than if he was running?
I think
it'd slow him down.
No, I think the bike would break.
The bike's made out of a suit, which doesn't break. Like he's got Flash suit wheels.
Shit. What about his chain?
It's a shame.
What's the chain made out of on his bike?
I don't know, adamantium.
Something that doesn't break, I guess.
Something that doesn't
Yeah,
break.
I think the bike mechanism is going to slow him down.
But it's the whole gear thing where
Yeah.
it's the
Oh, he
the-
can
the
actually
big
gear it?
pedaling with the gears into larger wheels, which will turn faster than he's running.
Yeah.
Like a normal bike.
Mm.
I think he'll go faster.
Yeah, I think he'd be faster.
So he.
So
I
you're
think-
saying the Flash should.
He should have a bike.
Yeah.
It'd be a Flash bike.
I suspect at certain speeds, heat causes friction will cause heat.
No,
He
but
already
that's
has that
what,
on
that's
a
what a
suit.
suit is.
That's
all.
what a suit's
the,
for.
the suit is like some
Okay, I'm not
bullshit
familiar with
science suit to dispel heat.
He has
or something.
suits where if he'd run without a suit, then he would like.
It's
burn
made
up or
by
something.
MeUndies or something to wick away
they
moisture.
that. But what about tires?
Yeah, same stuff.
all use wick away.
Just
Funny
you take a
word,
suit,
funny word.
you tan it, you leather it a bit, put it out in the sun, and then make ties out of it.
His suit. Where
What
did he
about-
get
Look,
his
dude,
suit from?
I don't know.
Bruce Wayne just made it. Like,
Someone made
But
it.
dude, that's
He
bullshit.
can run
because
light
the
speed.
bike could be at like whatever size. You know how gears work, right?
Yeah.
Like just.
If you
yeah, of
if
course
you
the
turn,
bike's faster. He's got like it's just that can
Yeah,
be
but-
as big as anything.
but people would say dumb stuff like the argument that I don't like the most is like Flash is already running as fast as he possibly can, so a bike can't physically make him go any faster. Like that's a cop out.
no, because like
Well,
a
that's-
bike will
I
always
mean,
make you go faster.
Whoever says that doesn't understand how a bike works.
Bikes, or just has a really shitty bike.
Gearing.
They just have the worst bike.
Yeah, like you could gear it. If he's like this infinite, like, does he run out of power? Does he have to eat like as much as he's
He
spending?
eats a lot very quickly.
Yeah.
He'll just chow through food
Do you
constantly.
think the Flash could beat Kobayashi in an eating competition?
Probably
Yeah, he's probably faster.
metabolism like you can't even give him medicine because he'll just metabolize it and just pump it out of his system. Or like painkillers don't work on him.
So he has to be.
okay.
So whenever he has
constantly
surgery or anything like to fix stuff, not that he needs it most of the time because he'll just heal it. Every time you try and give him painkillers or
Does he age
anesthesia,
really quickly
it
too?
doesn't work.
Is he like the
He
oldest
should.
guy?
He should.
Yeah, you should.
The other question is if Hulk was wearing adamantium underwear in human form, what would happen if he hulked out?
Broken pelvis.
No, he'd break down adamantium, I'm sure. Like, I don't think... Like, adamantium's strong. I don't think
They
it's
need
like,
to make Captain America's shield out of Hulk's
Nah,
femur.
he'd break
You
that
know
as well.
what
He'd break
happens if you
everything.
squeeze Play-Doh?
Squeeze.
I always felt it was like when you put an egg through an egg slicer. It's like Hulk's leg parts when he tries to expand through it, just slices.
Yeah, because there would be it's like 100% human, and then going
There'd be
into
an in-between
the,
where
the
he'd
in between
get-
is less than the adamantium. And so fuck pelvis.
So apparently the correct answer to that one is that Hulk just adapts to whatever situation he's being presented with. So what'll happen is he'll just have a very high muscle density around normal sized body parts, and the rest of him will be enlarged, and he'll just have a really tiny Hulk pelvis.
Come on, man. Who are these people?
Comic writers, apparently.
Fuck these guys.